I feel like that's how everybody felt about that movie, Cloverfield, with the
Oh
giant
my
monster in
god.
New York. And like everybody was like, "Oh, this movie looks tight. This movie looks tight. I can't wait to see it." And then when it finally came out, everybody was getting like motion sickness, and they're like, "Bro, like this is basically like a super long trailer. Like we don't know what the monster is. We don't know where it came from. We learned literally nothing. All they did was literally run from the monster the entire movie." But I was like, I still fuck with that movie. Super heavy. The concept is brilliant. I just feel like they should have used a different style of camera movement. Like some of it could have been like like first person point of view, but some of the other stuff should have been like like a regular camera work. Like not everything should have been first person. I feel like doing that kind of hampered the experience a little bit of it. But I mean, it's whatever though.
Are we on the air?
Trailers are. I remember back in the day, Dan used to be like, "Man, is this what you do for fun? You just watch trailers all day?" And which was incorrect. No, I did not just I'll always watch trailers all day. But
I mean, you played Skyrim too. I mean,
well, I actually have not played Skyrim at all. Actually, so
whatever game that was, it looked like Skyrim.
I've actually been getting caught up myself with because as you guys know, I don't know, listeners or whatever, but I haven't always been the biggest movie person. I was heavy on the music, so like I feel like I missed out on a lot of things, not just in my time, but the classics before my time. So I'm still getting caught up with, oh, you got to see this movie, or you seen this, right? You seen that, right? And I'm just like, nope. So that I got to get caught up, but I realize it's a lot that I want to watch, and maybe I don't want to spend so much time on it. So I do go to YouTube and I get like the super fast, like recaps of the movie. Like they give you the premise and stuff like that. So like I've actually really gotten into those, but trailers do irritate me because it's like I don't know if we talked about it a few weeks ago when I said, I like watching movies without even knowing the title or like what it's about, just play
a complete surprise.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just kind of like trailers irritate me sometimes. And like we just said, the worst thing about trailers is if it's a great trailer and the movie is literally just like highlighting what the trailer was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing new to this. You showed all the great action in the trailer. You showed the best dialogue in the trailer. Like save it,
Yeah, I could kind of feel that as well because I was like, for a while, like while I was on deployments and underway and all that stuff, I got to miss out on a bunch of movies and a bunch of like big releases. Like we were just talking about how I missed out on the second, what was it, Godzilla movie, and it really sucks because I really wanted to watch it. My wife watched it, and if I get what you're saying, so like I feel the same thing.
It's on HBO Max. I'm just saying.
The second one or the one that when's the new one coming out?
The new one hasn't come out yet. It will be releasing on HBO Max. I think it's in March when it comes out.
Bro.
But if you're missing the second one, like DJ, go on HBO Max right now and you can watch the second one right now. And then when it releases the movie to the movie theaters, it'll go straight to HBO Max. So you don't have to wait for it in line or nothing.
It's about to sound like a plug for HBO Max, but I know they got Coming to America 2 dropping pretty soon as well.
That's on Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, well, I got that too. I got that too.
There's a lot of movies that are coming out actually. Let me introduce the podcast real quick so everybody can understand who the fourth voice is. Anyways, what's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my consenting co-hosts Daniel, DJ, and Joey. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow or subscribe button. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. All right, guys. First and foremost,
why my name get pushed to the end? I'm not the one that missed the last couple months, buddy. I'm pretty sure I got some kind of seniority around this bitch.
It's literally just alphabetical. That's all it is.
I'm just playing. Hey, look, God said last go first or something like that, Daniel. I don't know.
First shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Yep. Yeah.
So obviously, yes, welcome back, DJ. It's been quite a while. I'm glad you could join us. Second of all, real quick, actually the Godzilla movie comes out March 31st.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't actually I didn't expect it to be that quick, to be honest.
That's very soon.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually scheduled for May of this year, and then it got pushed up to March 26th, and then today it was announced that it got pushed back to March 31st. So yeah,
That's actually
it was
pretty
also it's also kind of cool because I mean back in the day we would see like a trailer or like an announcement or teaser or whatever for movies like a year in advance, and a lot of people were kind of like upset that like we weren't getting anything for so long. But somebody actually pointed out the fact that since everything is kind of going to streaming services so quickly now, or at least for HBO Max, all like the big major like blockbuster films are going to HBO Max right away. They don't really need to put as much money into marketing as they have in the past. So like smaller clips, shorter teasers, things like that are all that's really necessary until like, it's the movies are pretty much about to come out, so that's kind of cool. You can save money in that in market in terms of marketing, and hopefully it makes enough money for them to be satisfied with them going, hey, let's continue this franchise or do whatever we want to do with this franchise. There's a lot to be said about this trailer, and let's start right there then, since we're already here anyways. We can start with the movies. We said last week or last episode that Netflix got like 70 movies coming out this year. HBO Max has like had a killer trailer that was super petty and showed up right after Netflix dropped theirs the day before. Has showcasing like pretty much a ton of movies, ton of big blockbuster films that are going to come out and kind of blow Netflix out of the water to some degree or whatever, right? One of the major ones, obviously, is the King Kong is Godzilla versus King Kong, and that there's a lot that happens in that trailer. To be honest, guys, I know we were talking about earlier. It's mainly the action. It's a ton of action because it's kind of like the the big main event. Oh man, finally get to see this showdown. For people who have been following this franchise since the beginning, when Godzilla 2014 came out, it was pretty much announced right away once the sequel was declared that when Kong Skull Island came out, that they were going to lead up to Godzilla versus Kong. So we've been kind of, people who've been kind of in the loop for this, been waiting since 2016 maybe. We've been waiting for this to come out, and it's really kind of cool to see this happen. Obviously there's an old version and it's kind of goofier now. When you look back on it, it looks really silly. Kong has obviously grown. He's grown about 3 times his original size. He was like 100 something meters. Now he's like 300 something meters. Godzilla's also in the 300 range. The story seems to be that something is controlling Godzilla and making him attack things, and they don't know why. Millie Bobby Brown makes her return. Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights. I don't know the actor's real name, but he makes a return. There's a little girl that seems to be communicating with Kong, which is kind of cool. A little interesting aspect. Like a little girl, like she looks like she's like 5 years old maybe, and Kong's like this giant, ape, obviously. They capture him, take him to go fight Godzilla. It looks like the first fight might be taking place in the water, which is kind of like, that's Godzilla's stomping ground. So it kind of seems to be a little bit unfair. It appears at some point in the movie,
it's home field.
Kong is able to. Yeah, Kong is able to make some type of battle axe of some sort. It looks like it's made out of rock and a stick, or maybe even there's rumors saying that it may be like a piece of Godzilla's ancestors, like one of the spines on their backs. It looks like there's like an ancient war between them. They didn't get along back in the day, so it's kind of like Bloods versus Crips or something like that. Another big thing too is it is almost 100% guaranteed that we're getting Mecha Godzilla in this film. If you're like myself and you like to study trailers a little bit, yeah. So there's probably 2 scenes that you guys didn't really notice. One scene is like in the very first 3 seconds. I mean, you can mute yourself and watch it right now if you want to. In the first 3 seconds, there seems to be debris and people running. If you look close enough, it kind of looks like Godzilla, but if you look close enough, it appears way more metallic looking than Godzilla. And it's all but confirmed at this point that it's Mecha Godzilla. The other scene that is showcased later on, there's a scene where this Asian guy, I'm not sure the actor's name once again, he's standing in front of like some kind of monitor, and if you look on the monitor, it shows like diagnostics and system recharging, booting or whatever of like this giant like mechanical machine or whatever in the shape of what appears to be like Godzilla or Mecha Godzilla in this case. So we're pretty much all but certain that Mecha Godzilla is making an appearance in this movie. There's lots of theories going on right now. We don't know if maybe somehow the people who created him maybe made like a false like skin for him, so kind of like Terminator style, maybe as like Kong and Godzilla fight. The more he beats up Godzilla, we'll maybe see pieces come off, revealing like the metallic casing underneath. And then oh, look at that, it's not even Godzilla, it's actually Mechagodzilla. And then maybe Godzilla and Kong have to team up at the end of the movie to take him down or something to that avail. Another theory is that maybe they're using some kind of holographic projection to surround Mechagodzilla, and actually it's just Godzilla. There's all kinds of little different theories floating around. There's like people were analyzing the scene where he jumps onto like the carrier and he's like smashing stuff. There seems to be some kind of liquid coming from his mouth, and things are like glowing blue, and not like if he's about to fire his atomic breath, but like for some reason like the explosions kind of seem off or look a little bit weird or whatever. It's a lot going on. People analyze these trailers all the time, so it looks like we're gonna get Mechagodzilla at minimum. I don't know about Mega Ghidorah. Obviously, the evil group that's not what are they called again?
Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch. There's like the evil Monarch. They got Ghidorah's head, but we don't really know if I don't think that there's any. There hasn't been any scenes that significantly state that like we're gonna get Mecha Ghidorah, which would be freaking amazing if we did, but I don't think that's gonna happen though. But other than that, I mean, Mechagodzilla, that's still super dope too. So I'm excited for that.
Man, I hope they don't give us Mechagodzilla, just because I was hoping they could make that a whole other movie after this. In my head, I was thinking that until you said that in the trailer. Now my future is ruined thanks to you. Anyway.
I mean, I like it either way. I don't like one of the things that I disliked about the trailer and kind of made me research a little bit further was that it appeared that Godzilla was being pushed as the villain. It looks like Kong is our great hope. We need Kong. We don't like Godzilla's attacking people or whatever. And when the last two movies that Godzilla's been in, he's been the savior. He's come to the aid of people when the balance is like disrupted or whatever. He comes to the aid of people, helps them out. Pretty much until he's about to die or until he close to death or whatever. So like
no. Tell me.
Maybe it's got nothing to do with people. Maybe this is just the result of a sour back alley dice game that just went wrong. You know what I'm saying? And all these gigantic prehistoric animals are just finally fed up.
Well, there's
if I was Godzilla, I start attacking people immediately. I came here to save y'all last time I was here, and y'all nuked the hell out of me. Hell no, I'm going ham on all of y'all.
Well, they did that on purpose.
Hell no.
They did that to save his life. That's the reason why. So in the last movie, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen Godzilla King of Monsters.
I don't say
he has to recharge, but they blow him up on purpose to help him recharge faster. Because basically Ghidorah was going to take over everything if he was going to go to sleep. And they were like, nigga, wake your ass up. We need you. So then they
why was he asleep? Tell the
because
truth.
he got his ass beat.
No. They dropped that bomb and they killed that nigga. That's what happened. Tell the truth.
Oh my goodness. He was getting tag team. He was getting tag teamed by Rodan and Ghidorah. He was not going to win that fight. There was nothing that was going to happen. The bomb that blew up in the pyramid, though, that was to recharge him.
Oh, I know he needed that one. I'm talking about the one that got him there. Thanks a lot.
The one where he in the water? You talking about the one in the water?
Yes. Thanks a lot, people. I came here to save you, and this is how you repay me.
This conversation is pushing me further and further away from a career in zoology.
Oh, bro. It's an interesting concept too. Like, I mean, even some people are theorizing that things from the last movie, like the orca, people are theorizing that somehow they like are using that against Godzilla, which doesn't make sense to me because in the first movie that was not affecting Godzilla, it was affecting everybody else who wasn't an alpha. So like Kong wasn't affected by it, Godzilla wasn't affected by it, even Ghidorah was affected by it, but Ghidorah was affected by it because he wanted to destroy it. And then like everybody else pretty much followed that sound or whatever. You could pretty much control everything. It's an interesting like concept / device, that they made in this whole franchise.
See. I went back and I looked at the trailer, the part that you said within the first few seconds where it looks like possibly it's the Mecha Godzilla. And I was looking for like some kind of silvery or shiny kind of color. And there's just so many explosions going on, bro. I honestly just couldn't grip my eyes around that. So I don't know if maybe I have to watch a different trailer, but
I mean, I also took a look at what you're talking about as
He just muted himself. Is that what happened?
I don't know.
Oh my!
He definitely.
I didn't try to.
Try it again.
This is my
Try it again.
computer. It was this new computer, man. New computer. My screensaver came on. But like I was saying, so I saw what you were talking about. I can definitely see what you were saying. But at this point, I think that because you know how some trailers and some movies, what they do is they try to give you some misdirection to try to give you an idea of what could be in the film. Because you've seen it. I mean, I can't name one off the top of my head, but I know there's a bunch of big movies that had something huge, like a huge scene that never even came out. I mean, we saw it with Marvel. We saw it in Infinity War. There's huge scenes that come up on these trailers that never make the film just to get you hyped. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I don't want to see Mechagodzilla in this film, but at the same time, I think that just like Daniel, I think it needs to be a focus on like the two title characters. It needs to be Godzilla versus Kong. I know that they're going to try to spin it in some way. Obviously, like you guys said, it makes Godzilla seem like the bad guy when a lot of people don't want that to be the case. But obviously, we'll see what happens. March isn't that far away, and I'm actually kind of excited. But now I got to watch the second Godzilla movie because I missed out on it, and now I kind of know how it ends. Thanks, Brandon.
That's not how.
That's not at all how it ends. That's like the midpoint of the movie, but I mean, it's good. I was watching the fights yesterday. Like I was like, damn, like watching the trailer. I watched the trailer again, and then I was like, I kind of want to watch the end of of A King of Monsters, and so I just checked it out really quick.
Are these now? I'm Godzilla. Like the idea of Godzilla and the story of Godzilla. Was that originated in Japan?
Yes.
Or okay, so is King Kong, is that originated from Japan as well?
I actually don't know that answer. I would
think I think it is, right? But for some reason in the American movies it's in New York City.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to know.
I know Godzilla. I don't know what the metaphor for King Kong is, or like if there's a metaphor. Well, from Black people, they'd probably like to say that it's about like it's a negative thing, like like Black men, chasing white women because that's kind of what gets them in trouble or whatever, But that's not like proven or anything like that. Nobody has ever said like, oh, this is what it's about or supposed to be. But Godzilla is a representation of the atomic bombs that were dropped in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh man, that just ruined the whole thing. Damn it.
Skull Island. In the original film, the character's name is Kong, a name given to him by the inhabitants of the fictional Skull Island in the Indian Ocean, where Kong lives along with other oversized animals such as Plesiosaurus, Pterosaurus, and various dinosaurs. So he's a prehistoric monkey that is
Basically
oversized from the Indian Ocean.
He's a Saiyan. Anyway,
I have seen so much Godzilla slander. Like everybody, like, oh, Kong dog walks Godzilla, Kong finna mud stomp Godzilla, and I'm just like, what is?
And if I remember correctly, when Godzilla first dropped, it was like one of the older movies. The only reason Godzilla had any clapback was because Godzilla was about to have children, right? Like there was eggs that were laid. And
are you talking about the old ass 1999 film?
Is that what I'm thinking about?
That's a completely different Godzilla.
Yeah,
why are you naming it the same?
That's the American. That's the American Godzilla. I'll tell you that.
There's like a big there's a lot of Godzillas like movies first of all, and like there's like it's the Toho, and then like it went somewhere else, and then
this right here. This is why we do this. I'm totally uncultured with the different Godzillas, bro.
Yeah, so that Godzilla was actually like they called it something else when like Japan got it back, and then like they made that monster like there was like I forget which film it is for Godzilla, but there's basically a Godzilla movie where these aliens come and they make him fight a bunch of monsters, and they produce that monster, and Godzilla like one shots him and just destroys it because it was like mad disrespectful or whatever. A lot of people don't like that movie. I didn't really like that movie. It was like the idea of it was cool, like in theaters. It's just I like giant monsters. I'm a huge fan of kaijus in general, So like seeing giant monsters on screen is always cool to me. Like, oh man, look how big he is compared to like, gosh, he's huge. Like in movie theaters for me, like that's where I want to watch a kaiju movie. I don't really want to watch it on my own TV. I want to watch it like with like a freaking 300-foot screen,
Right.
you know, like.
Or it's just engulfing your presence.
Yeah. Like, oh man, it feels like he's about to step on me, you know, like.
Well, recommendation. I have a recommendation. Just get closer to the screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember growing up.
Watch it at Daniel's house.
There you
For
go.
real.
I remember growing up, having my dad was watching those old school Godzillas from like the 60s. Oh, this is so terrible. Like, this is so whack. Like, how are you so hyped for this right now? And it was Godzilla versus King Kong. Go back and look at how, if you really want to see how good not lyrics, but visuals have gotten, go back and look at how, go ahead and look at how they got Mr. Popo as Godzilla back in the day. I'm telling you right now. It was ridiculous how ugly that
He
was.
said Mr. Popo.
But
they actually.
I wish my dad was still here to watch this, because I remember he used to always be like, "Come watch Godzilla versus Kong. Who you think's gonna win?" And I'm like, I don't care right now, you know.
And you know what? That's kind of how movies really took shape in America. Because remember, in 90 years ago in the Great Depression, we didn't have nothing to really keep our spirits high other than entertainment. So like when the movie business finally took off, half of it was only, half the entertainment was the actual film. The other half is like your effort and willingness to watch the movie and like get hype about it,
Yeah.
Like even though these old movies don't have the greatest graphics and stuff, and you're right, I wish some of the people who were around to enjoy it then can enjoy the new ones just to see how far we've come. Because even in our lifetime, in a short time, we've seen the development of graphics in video games alone from 10 years ago to now.
Speaking of the development of graphics in video games, let's get off this Godzilla topic and go into games and talk about Resident Evil Village. Have y'all seen the trailer for that? Have you seen any memes for that?
Yes, all of the memes.
So let me for Joey and Daniel, who may not, I'm sure you guys are familiar with what Resident Evil is, and for our listeners,
I have seen the meme. I have seen the meme with the girl. I've seen it.
So Resident Evil is it used to be like a somewhat of a zombie franchise, and it's more like an infection franchise now, I guess, if you want to call it that. Usually it's like some kind of rampant infection between a group of people, and then like they send somebody in, usually some white guy or a white girl, and then like they like get a bunch of guns throughout, like some, somehow a flamethrower, rocket launchers, and all kinds of crazy machine guns have been left on this island, or left in somebody's mansion or whatever, and you can collect them all, and then you shoot and kill all these monsters or whatever, right? And a lot of things get infected, like bugs can get infected, dogs, people. There's like all kinds of different special infected or whatever. It's a huge franchise. I'm sure you've heard of it at some point in your lifetime, right? So with the 8th installment of like the main franchise being called Resident Evil Village, it's actually kind of cool how they put it. To like represent the 8, that's the V, the I, the L, the L. So like Roman numeral 5 and with the 3 I's. So they kind of wedge that in there, and it's like yellow to like highlight it, like, oh, it's the 8th game or whatever. Anyway, it seems like you play as Ethan Winters, who was the main protagonist of Resident Evil 7. They had like a whole like country bumpkin family that got infected by this like little girl who like was actually a grandma, and all kinds of, it was some super weird stuff going on in that game. Anyways,
really trippy.
Yeah. Fast forward to Resident Evil 8, it looks like we are getting like a big titty Amazon woman and her filthy daughters are going to be like the main villains. Filthy daughters that like want to suck your blood, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Women have already been going crazy with the cosplays. I'm seeing big titty white girls cosplay as like the main woman, the big old tall woman. I've seen cosplays as like the daughter who like turns into bugs and stuff, that like she like sucks your blood. Like she turns into flies and she's all like dirty and like got blood all over her mouth and stuff. It's super wild.
So what you're saying is Comic-Con is a must this year, because
if there is a Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's true. That's true
for sure, bro. I was making a joke earlier today, and I said, man, like if this comes with if this is compatible with VR, I'm getting that for sure. No questions asked. Like,
No jaws on or nothing.
I was like, I can't wait for this girl, this big old lady, to pick me up and choke me. I'm gonna just tie my belt around, get that real feel, you know?
Whoa.
Oh man, like the jokes are hilarious. And like one of the ones I saw was like it was this guy giving a presentation, and I like mentioned this, and then I saw this meme later, and the guy's giving a presentation. He's like, "All right, the new voila, our new Resident Evil protagonist or antagonist," and it shows like the big old Amazon chick or whatever, right? And then he's like, "How exactly is this supposed to scare the gamers?" And the guy's like, "Scare."
Yeah,
right.
Like, like, bro, like, and it's funny too. Like, somebody said Resident Evil is horny, and then like somebody else said like it's always been horny, and showed like hella examples of like the women in like the franchise like being like exposed to some degree, like they're still infected and like all like weird or like some kind of bioengineered like
But they be
disgusting
thick, bro.
thing. They're thick, like they have like cleavage and stuff like that, and it's
like a Disney movie mom. You know what I'm saying? They all thick. You feel me?
It's like you're thinking like, man, I never really realized this. This Resident Evil's been kind of programming me to like this kind of shit. What the hell?
Elastigirl better stop playing with me. You feel me? But yeah, the game drops. Game drops on May 7th, so we still got quite a while on that. But yeah, I just watched it right now. It's the third trailer just came out 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So we'll see if there's a fourth one that comes out within now and the next few months.
Well, they actually just dropped a demo for it. Unfortunately, for a good portion of people, it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive for the demo. So if you would like to try the demo out, it is available right now on the PSN for PlayStation 5.
Ooh.
I actually thought about picking it up myself for all the fans. I know I've been gone forever, but I actually have a PlayStation 5. I'm one of the.
He said, "Y'all, bro, get on his level."
He said, "I actually have a PlayStation 5." So,
so yeah, that did come out. There's a lot of people that did play it, and a lot of people did actually get to see what's happened in the trailer on their actual game consoles themselves. So I might pick it up. I might try to download it. I've been a huge fan of Resident Evil for a while, but yeah, this one's I'm just waiting to see what she turns into, because even though they bring out these they bring out these people that are going to be like even every character is hypersexualized in this game. It's just like on a low key, but they end up turning into something super grotesque. So I'm wondering what they're going to turn her into.
I'm definitely only playing this in the daytime.
I know at the end of the trailer when she picks you up, she the big like lady, she has like long like freaking what does she remind me of? A
razor claws and shit
from Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah, she has
yeah, exactly. Fingers,
yeah. But it looks interesting. It looks scary, definitely. I know. I watched like 3 different like Let's Play YouTubers play the demo. The feels are definitely there. It takes the demo takes place. Majority of it is like in a dungeon and then a mansion, but then like you don't really get too much like action. You kind of get more like the puzzle mechanics, which like Resident Evil is kind of famous for. Grabbing something, putting it somewhere, getting to the next area, so on and so forth. There some screenshots have been showed, and there's like I think there's been 2 Resident Evils, right, that have showcased like a merchant / like upgrade system. I know Resident Evil 4 had a merchant in him, and the guy, every time he walks up to him, is like, "What are you buying?" And then like if you try to sell something, he's like, "What are you selling?" And it's just this guy in a robe that like randomly appears. It's usually a safe area. There's like blue flames or whatever, and then like he'll sell you guns or buy stuff from you or whatever. Like you sometimes you'll get like gems from like boss fights or whatever. And you can sell them for a bunch of money to upgrade your guns. Resident Evil 5, it's a little bit fuzzy for me, but I can't remember if it was at the end of every level or if there was like some kind of station you can go to buy stuff. I know you collect guns and you upgrade them, but I just can't remember where or how exactly you go about upgrading stuff. And then this game too, it's actually, when I saw the still of it, the merchant in this game is like this big old fat dude, like I'm talking about like 500, like chilling. Like every time you see him, he's chilling, and you can like buy guns from him or buy whatever from him and upgrade all your stuff too. So I'm kind of glad they're re-implementing that into the game. Resident Evil 7 kind of was strictly the horror vibe, which is like first playthrough for Resident Evils are usually good for that, except for Resident Evil 6. We won't talk about that. First playthrough for Resident Evil 4, fantastic. First playthrough for Resident Evil 5, pretty good. Like on the horror aspect, but then because like the upgrade system and like the different things you unlock at the end of the game, it kind of like after you beat the game the first time, it is literally just an action shooter. Basically, after that, like there's no scares really afterwards. The only thing you might be scared of is something that can kill you in one hit. But once you already know what to expect and what the game is about or whatever, there's really nothing scary after that. But Resident Evil 7, they stuck with that. They were like, this game is all about getting scared. The guns couldn't be upgraded. All you could do was find things. You could skip some things if you wanted to. Like there's like a flamethrower you can put together, but you didn't have to get that, I don't believe. The ammo was pretty scarce, so it's like that horror vibe was really good in Resident Evil 7. I would like that to maintain, so I don't really want there to be anything crazy in Resident Evil 8, but I mean, overall, I'm just kind of excited that we're going to get another game regardless. So
yeah, I think
or what?
You said what?
They gonna microtransaction you to death or what?
Oh no, I don't think so.
It's Capcom, so I wouldn't doubt it. To be honest,
yeah,
I mean, nothing major besides like you'll get good DLCs at least, but like I don't think there would be anything like in the game like to buy a gun or something. I don't think they'll do that, but for sure DLCs. That's almost a given for Capcom games.
Yeah, I just like you said though, like with Resident Evil 7, they tried to go back to their like a change of form, back to their scary roots and their horror aspect. So that's why that full game was in first person, and it was all about jump scares, all about scares ammo, like you talked about. I think that's kind of what they're trying to get back to. So I think with the main character being Ethan, they are going to go back to that same sort of horror, jump scares, very scarce ammo. I do.
Horror.
Wow. I do see how they're trying to implement the kind of vendors from Resident Evil 4, but like I said, I'm going to pick it up just because I've played every Resident Evil at this point. So I'm excited to see how it is.
I'm sorry, I just was reading what somebody added to the docket here. It says $20 tub, man. Let me get a tub. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, well, because it was just breaking news. I wanted to make sure I covered it. I forgot these were the shared notes. Yeah, so I guess the Biden, just real quick, I guess I know we're switching topics very various right now. The Biden administration is trying to overcompensate to the black side. You know, I'm sorry if that offends somebody, but the white guy that says if you don't vote for Biden, you're not black does some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm open to say that. But yeah, the Biden administration is trying to continue that push for the $20 bill with Harriet Tubman on it.
Yeah,
and I just think it's funny. Yeah, I just think it's great. It's cool. You know, she's definitely a historical person for America. You know what I mean? Like, you hear about her name, even if you don't know the story, you hear her name at some point. And I think this is just really great for the not only for the black community. I'm still waiting for a Mexican person on $1, but whatever. And then also I think it's great for drug dealers. And I know I'm definitely gonna have, not to make that sound no kind of way, nobody take this out of context, but I just think it's funny because, you know, like me, like somebody who smokes weed, you know, usually people pick up, you know, a dub at a time, and I can just hear people saying, yo, let me get a tubby. You know what I'm saying? Like a Tubman. You know what I'm saying? Like it just sounds so funny to me. You know, let me get a tub. Like, can you imagine somebody taking money out your hands, and as soon as they start establishing this and money starts going out to the public, you know, openly, and a lot of it, could you imagine handing somebody a 20 and then put it up to the light, and you got to look at Harriet Tubman? Like, this is crazy, bro.
The first time, I'm sure people are gonna be like, this is fake, huh? Like,
and I'm not, God, I hate sounding so ignorant, but she looked like Celie on The Color Purple, right? Like on the bill. So it's gonna be kind of funny. Like, you know, people take dollar, people take dollar bills and draw on them already. Like, can you imagine how fast Black Twitter is gonna just go crazy when the shit finally drops? You know what I mean? So just, I don't know, something to think. I've been looking for the the comedy in every situation. So if people get mad about this, I'm sorry, but it made me laugh.
I mean, since we're here, the inauguration was the other day. I'm just going to be honest. There wasn't really anything spectacular about it for me. I kind of just caught the highlights, except for the fact that once again, I am reminded just how much meme culture runs the world.
Bruh.
First and foremost, I want to point out the Dior Air Force Ones. Everybody was pretty much speculating who was wearing those. Football players, basketball player. I think it ended up being some famous woman's husband or something like that with his kids or something like that. Super, super, random. I've been seeing I think it was Kamala Harris, the one in her like jacket. I've been seeing. I don't know who the woman is, like this like long winter coat, but they're like making her like a Sith Lord all of a sudden and stuff. And it's just it's so many
Internet's
memes.
fast, bro. The internet is just too fast.
And then last but not least, Bernie freaking Sanders, bro. All Buddy was doing was chilling. He was chilling.
And then did the most Bernie thing. Then he did the most Bernie thing ever. He said, "Oh, I'm getting some clout off of this pose and I see it everywhere. Let me put this shit on a shirt and start selling this picture and give it to charity." Like, come on, bro.
Instantly. Sold out instantly.
Crazy.
Did you hear about the lady that makes the mittens that he wore?
No.
So those mittens that he gets. So the story behind it is he actually she makes it for sort of similar, kind of like a charity sort of thing. She makes it, and whatever profits she gets, she keeps a little bit, and then she donates the rest to a local organization. Well, as soon as that meme came out and it blew up, people obviously were trying to look for like the originator.
The mittens.
Yeah, the mittens, and so she ended up charging like $1,000 for custom mittens, and she took a good portion of that money and actually donated a bunch of it, which is actually awesome. But it was just
that's great.
It's hilarious how like something as small as this meme that just blew up on the internet for no reason other than Bernie sitting down and chilling and is helping people out, which I think is awesome.
That's way better. I mean, we've seen people charge a lot more for a lot less and for no cause, like Kanye's bogus ass shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like you charging people $3,000 for those what look like, I don't know, like a skeleton of a small bird or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bogus. But yeah, man, Bernie Sanders doing some charity work, just milking off social media. Nothing could have been better off of that. You know what I'm saying? And the Air Force Ones in the background was huge. And again, people with the time travel conspiracies about the writer from The Simpsons came around as well because of Kamala Harris's outfit and the pearl earrings. So like that was going on. The memes were endless. It was Barack Obama chilling in the Oval Office again, but Joe in the chair, and you know what I'm saying? It was, what'd he say? I got 2 terms and you were impeached. We are not the same. And then Michelle Obama's like snatching his phone away. Oh my god, it's so stupid. So
yeah, there's a ton of memes. Joe actually immediately got to work and started signing executive orders. It looks like we got the wall production has been halted, which is kind of cool considering that probably just wasted a bunch of money and didn't really get that far at all, even though he was saying like, I think he tried to say at one point that they were doing like 10 miles a week or something like that. It was crazy. That definitely was not happening.
There was one thing I couldn't see though. It was at one part of the inauguration when J-Lo went up there to sing, and anybody who knows J-Lo knows she got ass, you know what I'm saying? Cheeks. You feel me? Cakey bottoms. And I was looking for Bill Clinton in the background, but I couldn't see him. I know he was back there smiling though.
Oh man, yeah, I feel like I don't know why they keep having J-Lo come out to these places.
Right?
Personally.
What the fuck does she like? She's cool and all.
She's the representation.
The representation.
Yeah, she was the one going hard. Yeah, but wasn't she also going hard for Bernie Sanders as well? So like, as soon as one person's out the race, it's on to the next one, or what?
Well, they need to get the Mexican vote somehow.
I mean, you could get somebody else in there. There's plenty to grab from, I feel like, especially from like Latin descent or Black descent, whatever, you're African American descent, it doesn't matter. Like, I just feel like her specifically, she is not the best singer in the world, but I mean, it's whatever. I digress.
Wait. Last meme. This one had me dying, bro. It was, remember when the election, when the votes were finally all counted up, the first out of the 19 times that Trump demanded, the first time when we realized that Joe Biden had won and Kamala Harris is on the phone and she's like, Joe, we did it, Joe. Right? She says that. They have the one where now that they're in office, she's on the phone. It's just a picture of her on the phone with her head down. She's like, Joe, they want their stimulus.
Yeah.
That one resonated very deep. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know about the supposed $2,000 stimulus. At least the remaining amount of stimulus is supposed to come out late February to early March. Apparently, there's an 85% chance.
1,400.
I thought it got pushed down to 1,400.
Yeah, so it is 14, so it's the remaining of what we were expecting for the 2,000, which would be 1,400. But that's currently going to be in progress. It sounds like there's like 85 to 90% chance that it'll get passed the first time around, just because the Democrats own everything right now. So that's some other positive news when it comes to Joe Biden and trying to win over Americans right now.
Just do it while we got the yes men and the votes. That's like when you're not dressed or nothing and your mom is walking out the house with her keys talking about, I'm going to the stove, and you got to hurry up and put on whatever you can just so you could bring back your favorite cereal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think those approval ratings are probably going to be up the roof right now. I mean, you got the January stimulus that don't get me wrong, wasn't really him, but you got the January stimulus that just came out. People are getting their tax returns here in the next month. And then if this stimulus pops, bro, there's going to be people for the first 3 months of 2021 going to be real happy.
But you know what? I think if they do start handing out checks like that, even multiple, because if you think about it, we've already been on somewhat of an economic lockdown for 10 months, right? Pretty much. In that time, the people, I don't want to, separate anybody, but the people have gotten 2 stimulus checks, one for 1,200 and one for 600. So we've gotten 1,800 total. Some people haven't even got the first one, by the way, guys. Read that. So $1,800 over the course of 10 months. That's what, $18?
That's like
$180 a month, right?
Yeah.
$180 a month. Okay, let's just remember that now. So if Joe Biden actually gets a few stimulus in a row, they're probably going to mandate a nationwide lockdown and say, "Hey, we paid you, shut up." So I hope people are just ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's. I heard talks about it before. Biden wanted like
4 to 6 weeks, right? Yeah.
Yep. He wanted 4 to 6 weeks of complete lockdown, shutdown, and any kind of people he had on his side that were kind of toying with it, like maybe I'll vote for Biden, they're probably going to be lost. So it's going to be a long 4 years, gentlemen.
Well, let's just wait until after the Super Bowl. That's what I want.
When the year starts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, how about those Bucks and how about those Chiefs, huh?
Man, Tom Brady. I hate that dude so damn much, man. I hate how everywhere he goes, success follows. I hate this.
But it's so crazy because like we really can't grade his situation on this team because he's never really been on a let's build a super team kind of thing. This is the first time, and he's already in his 40s. And if you watch the NFC conference game, Tom Brady didn't have that great of a game.
No,
he played pedestrian.
Yeah, he had 3 interceptions in the second half. Those are like giving the game away type of numbers.
Exactly. And just the Packers just didn't score on those turnovers. So who knows? Who knows, man? I don't know how well they're gonna do, but their defense has been getting better and better the last like 7-8 weeks, and that might be the difference. We'll see. We'll see if Tyreek. Let's not forget the last time the Chiefs played the Bucks, I think Tyreek had like 7 catches and 200 plus yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Jesus
it was.
Christ.
That was the game
the
that he was on
first
pace for 1,000
quarter.
Yeah, he was on pace for 1,000 yards in that
So,
game.
regardless of how anybody else feels, I know that secondary knees is shaking right now for the Bucks because Tyreek Hill is healthy and he will be out there. So we'll see. If all I'm saying is if Tyreek has over 200 yards, I don't care if Mahomes has 5 touchdowns. If Tyreek has over 200 yards, Tyreek might be the MVP if the Chiefs win.
I don't think that it's going to be Tyreek Hill, to be honest. I think
I'm just saying if he has the type of game he had last time, it would be hard. I mean, even Edelman won one. You know what I'm saying? So
I think for me, I would not be surprised if it's Kelsey.
Oh, he's a beast.
Oh yeah,
dude's a beast, man.
It's going to be somebody completely random. Sammy Watkins for the win.
McCole Hardman. Bro, I got them on my daily fantasy. I'll be happy if that happens.
Jeez. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel, man. It's just I think me and Daniel kind of talked about, I know how Daniel feels. He don't like Tom Brady. I'm not the biggest fan, but I acknowledge his winning record and temporary greatness for a while. But this is the first time that a team will be hosting the Super Bowl in their own stadium.
Yes.
The first time ever, and it happened to be on a Bucks team that was 7-9 last year, got a whole team makeover except for the wide receivers. Tom Brady, the most successful quarterback of all time already in the playoffs and Super Bowl era, goes to this team. Now it's even worse for Daniel because he's like, not only do I hate Tom Brady, now the first time a team gets to play a home game in the Super Bowl, it's Tom Brady, right? But we're talking about people refer to him as the GOAT, and he's going to be facing Mahomes, who is like the next GOAT, kind of.
Yeah.
So I couldn't think of anything more appropriate than the Chiefs going to Tampa Bay and stomping their ass out, and Tom Brady pretty much like handing over the torch. I think it's just like kind of storybook setting.
No,
I'm not in favor of Tom Brady playing like shit and still winning, though. That's something I'm not going to live with.
I feel like it'll be the complete opposite to where they're going to be like, they're going to make it so it's Tom Brady's going to be the only quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl that's being hosted by the home team and this and that, just to further cement his quote unquote GOATness in the NFL.
It's going to suck.
Mark my words. There's going to be some random PI call or some random holding call that's going to give Tom Brady to win. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here.
At first, because I was fully on the Bills hype train coming into last week, but
wow.
But I'm gonna be honest. After watching that Bills game and seeing the Chiefs, they're unstoppable. I don't think that there's any team right now that can beat the Chiefs in a straight up game.
But okay, I gotta get the Chiefs secondary came to fucking play last week, bro. They were playing man up. They were locking down at the line of scrimmage, and that's not something that they've been doing all season. They played aggressive, which is what you're supposed to do in the playoffs. My thing is, yeah, they have Stephon Diggs, but their number 2, and he had an okay season, is Cole Beasley. And this ain't really Madden. So like in the real world, Cole Beasley ain't doing shit. Okay. But the guys on Tampa Bay, though, they got a lot more weapons than I think the Chiefs can really guard, and vice versa. So I don't know. I can see both of these teams kind of scoring into the 30s, but I'd be really pissed off if Patrick Mahomes throws for over 400 yards and 3+ touchdowns, and Tom Brady throws for 220 and 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, but still wins, because people will solidify this win underneath Tom Brady's name and not the Bucks. Even though it's kind of like when Peyton Manning left and went to the Broncos, we knew he wasn't shit no more, but he was good enough to be on the good team to win.
Hey, we don't got to bring that Super Bowl up. Stop.
I want to point out something really quick too. There will be either team who wins. This will be the first of 2 things. Regardless of who wins. If the Chiefs win, it'll be the first time a team has won back-to-back Super Bowls, and if the Bucks win, then obviously the home game thing.
Teams have won back-to-back Super Bowls already.
Negative.
Tom Brady's done that already.
Yeah, Tom Brady's done it.
Tom Brady has not won back-to-back Super Bowls.
They won 3 out of 4 years, didn't they? They won 2 in a row, lost one, and then won again.
No. It says that the only teams. It says that the Chiefs look to be the repeat champions when they face or look to become first repeat Super Bowl champions since Patriots. My bad, I'm wrong. See, I don't know football stuff, guys. I should just shut up.
You're all right. No, the worst part is the Bills. The Bills have been to 4 Super Bowls,
And lost
4
them all.
straight, and lost all of them. That's disappointing. So for all the Bills Mafia and all the Bills fans, them seeing this team come together, bro, y'all just did it y'all should have did it 5 years ago, bro, because Patrick Mahomes exists now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that sucks.
Do you think that anything will happen to the team after this year? Because I mean, like, they kind of pretty much kept all like their major weapons from last year, right?
No one. So as of right now, I don't know 100% of the stats going into it, but as of right now, there is no major. The Chiefs aren't scheduled to lose anyone major. Obviously, they locked up Tyreek and
Yeah, they did.
Travis
The Chiefs did all their re-signing before this season,
Yes.
so they have guys for at least 2 years now.
And they
3
still
years.
they still have players like McCall Hardman and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, obviously a rookie, on their rookie contracts. So they have a bunch of youth and a bunch of depth. I mean, you got Andy Reid as your coach, and he's been talking in that owner's ear, and their drafts have been like not like backbreaking, but they've been drafting a lot of depth. So I think as of right now, I think the only person they're scheduled to lose is, I think it was Chris Jones, who's one of their Pro Bowl defensive or edge rushers. But I think that's
So
the only.
you think the Chiefs become the new Patriots team?
As of right now, the Chiefs are. Without the Chiefs,
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say hell no, actually, because there's something that we can't ignore with the Patriots. The Patriots did have 2 or 3 seasons out of that whole dynasty of like 10 plus years or 15 years, excuse me, where they had really good rosters, like the Randy Moss year, the Gronkowski like 3 years. You know, they had like 4 or 5 seasons where their roster just seems so stacked. But a lot of those seasons, we always had to give Tom Brady credit because a lot of the linemen were always, you know, interchangeable except for like the tackle, and he always had a bunch of different receivers. This team is like it's double on top of that because it's like they have all the weapons and they have Patrick Mahomes. So it's like the Chiefs would still be great if they had another quarterback, but the fact that they have one of the quarterbacks on top of that just kind of makes them OP. Like, they just think the last 8 weeks of the regular season, the Chiefs weren't playing great. They were living off pure talent because the schemes weren't even working, and they were still winning games.
yeah.
So just like think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if they're not at their best, they're still a 1-loss team, which is crazy.
I mean, technically 2 losses if you want to give them benching all of their starters and losing to the Chargers in Week 17.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't count that one.
But I listen to a lot of sports podcasts because I do a lot of sports betting. But according to statistically, the Chiefs for the first 8 weeks of the season, they were lights out. Patrick Mahomes obviously was on a tear. He was the number 2 quarterback behind Kyler Murray, and that's just because Kyler Murray started off on a very hot streak. We obviously talked about that Tyreek Hill game where he was 200 yards in the first quarter, and then Travis Kelce was going to lead the league in receiving yards this year, which is unheard of for a tight end.
And probably catches.
Yeah.
Probably catches too.
So, I mean, for the first 8 weeks, they were dominating teams, and the only team they lost to was the Bills in that sort of sense. And it was a game that they lost, but then after that, they kind of shut it down. They didn't really push themselves. It seemed like they had coasted to every other single victory after that. So a lot of people think that they just went into like autopilot. Like, hey, we got the division already. We're gonna just try some experimental stuff of experimental plays, try these new players out, see what our depth is, and then work from there. But when I'm watching this team, that for some reason it definitely reminds me of the greatest show on turf. It reminds me of the Rams. You have Kurt Warner and Torrey Holt and like Isaac Bruce, and you had just this powerful Marshall Faulk, this powerful offense that could not be stopped, and that's what I see with the Chiefs right now.
Yep, Chiefs is OP right now, overpowered.
So, kind of back to my original question I asked: would this game make them better than the Patriots team? Then, You said the greatest show.
I'm gonna say
I don't think I ever watched that personally because I didn't start watching football until what?
I'm gonna honestly say
2007.
this Chiefs team, and I'm gonna throw that in with last year's Chiefs team that won as well. They're probably better than every Patriots team except for two. And one is that year with Randy Moss because their defense. Let's not forget the Patriots had defense. They had Rodney Harrison, they had Junior Seau, they had a bunch of guys on the D line. You know what I'm saying?
Teddy Brisky, Richard Seymour, yeah.
So in comparison, when you compare that team to this Chiefs team, you know what I'm saying? There's only so many teams that had that much talent. I don't care about the end result. Like, did you win the Super Bowl? I'm just talking about like that team in general. Cause coaching and situations go into it as well. Cause I could make a case for like the 2006 San Diego Chargers team was one of the most talent loaded rosters of all time as well with those other rosters, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't win either. So I don't know. It's just like for today's game, because it's so pass heavy, it's changing the way coaches scheme defense. But there's like a top tier of quarterbacks, and if you're in that top tier, it doesn't matter what the defense is doing because you have the arm strength and the confidence in your accuracy to make the throws anyway.
Well, yeah, we saw
so
that.
Mahomes is just going to drop dimes.
Yeah, we've seen that with some Patriots teams too. Like you said, there's been a lot of Patriots Super Bowl wins that had. I mean, like, granted, Edelman was a good receiver with Tom Brady. I don't know if he was a product of Brady, but you had a lot of receivers that were no names. The Deion Branches, the Wes Welkers, who was washed up, all these players that Brady made, and like it was all because of Brady. So
that they refound their careers in New England with Brady.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of guys like that. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is just pissing off Daniel because it sounds like we're riding Brady pretty hard, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I would personally say that for Brandon, I think that bringing the defense on, because I'm a huge defensive guy myself, I think that the Patriots of back then, in some cases also including the Randy Moss Patriots team, is better than this current Chief team, and that's just because they were more well-rounded. I think that if you give the Chiefs, because the Chiefs only have like 2 or 3 defensive studs. Like they have
like 8.
Yeah, they have Honey Badger and they have Chris Jones, like I said, and then they might have like 1 or 2 more. But I think that if they get a little bit more stacked on defense, maybe we'll have them in the conversation as better than the Patriots were when they were in their dynasty. But I definitely do think that they're really good.
That's just from a team aspect. If we're just talking about who's the most potent offense, I might have to just keep rolling with the Chiefs until they lose, until proven otherwise. You know?
Yeah.
For sure. So you guys don't got nothing else for sports, I'm assuming, right?
No, I don't think so. I mean, what else is going on? The Padres signed a few more guys.
Grizzlies team has been shut down for like 2 weeks now.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Because they continually have been contact traced and random players have been tested positive. They haven't played a game in 2 weeks. I got somebody on my fantasy team. I'm hurting.
Man, speaking of,
but guess what? As long as you win those matchups, as soon as the Grizzlies come play, you're gonna have players with like 10 games in 1 week. So you're gonna throw somebody out.
Speaking of fantasy basketball, man, I didn't even get an invite, man. I don't have any fantasy basketball leagues this year.
This ain't what you want.
Fantasy basketball is dying now because a lot of these franchises are looking like fantasy drafts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these super teams is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I'm a Boston Celtics fan, and I mean Brown, Walker, and fucking Tatum are looking amazing.
Good stuff.
Yeah, James Harden went over to the Nets, and they went on a losing streak immediately. So it's kind of weird.
It's crazy. No. They won their first game when he went over there. Kyrie came back, and they lost 2 straight to the Cavs, bro. To the Cavs. To Colin Sexton, the guy who they had to draft because you left. He shit on you twice. Come on, bro.
Colin Sexton, Kyrie. He went off, though. He went off.
He needed to burn some more sage. I don't give a fuck. do all that crying, come back and shit the bed. Come on, bro. Jesus. He's still mad about that Kehlani stuff, ain't he? I know he mad. Missed out.
Yeah, wow.
And then just think, Kehlani did that, like cheated on you or whatever, and the dude posted a picture with her tattoo hand, and then she goes and gets like gangbanged by YG and his homies 400.
Oh my
Jesus Christ. I'd be mad too.
Kehlani about like that. Hold on now.
Ain't no amount of sage gonna take that pain away.
Two things real quick too. Speaking of pain, one thing I want to mention real quick is that the legendary I don't know if it's considered talk show or just like kind of interviews, but Larry King
comedian. Yeah.
At the age of 87, he's that's somebody I never thought like, even though he always looked old to me. So that's somebody in my lifetime I never thought I would see pass away. Honestly, it's just kind of one of those people that you kind of just. He's always been there, you know, since I was like the littlest kid.
Right.
You know?
And he's always looked that old since we were little kids.
Yeah, for real.
With the sharp shoulders and the suspenders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also today marks the 1 year anniversary of Kobe Bryant and Gianna's death. You know, everybody. It honestly, looking at like social medias and kind of like seeing everybody share like their moments and kind of talking to him and stuff like that. It felt like it happened all over again, low key. Like I was like, dang, like that pain is really still heavy and still there, like very much so. You know, rest in peace, Kobe and Gigi.
You got to see people break it all over again, and a year later.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I still kind of feel numb to that, and a lot of other celebrities who pass away, because it used to feel like every year was like 2 or 3 main ones, and now like the last 5 years it's like every month is like 5. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because we're reaching that age, you know, we're reaching that age where we've grown up watching certain people or knowing certain people, so it's just going to happen more and more. So we just kind of have to approach these things a little differently and just celebrate life instead of, you know, worrying about who's next type of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Get people that
I never cried when Pac died, but I probably will when M does.
With M. He changed it from Hove. He changed it from Hove to M. You ain't slick.
log out, damn.
Hey, but you know what? Also, you know how, like, just speaking to M, because you know rap is relatively new still. You know what I'm saying? Like, rap is literally like 30 something, 40 years old. You know?
Yeah.
And the last 20 years is totally different from the 20 before then. Yeah. But it's like now there's guys where it's like when we're old, when we're 50, 60 years old, there's probably still going to be some cats still rapping because nowadays, like Snoop Dogg is pushing mid 40s, right? You know what I mean? Like there's other guys pushing mid 40s and they're still rapping, and I don't see them stopping. So in 5 to 10 years, these people are still going to be rapping and they're going to be in their 50s and 60s.
Real quick, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but
what do you got to rap about?
Snoop Dogg. You talking about Snoop Dogg just reminded me of something I heard earlier today. I think I was like watching a video on Kev on Stage's Instagram or something, and this guy, or it might have been Tony Baker's, I'm not really sure, but somebody said that it was on Breakfast Club, I guess, this clip where some guy talked about that Snoop Dogg in his prime was bigger than Tupac was in his prime.
I believe that.
I can see that too, to be honest.
I don't know, because I feel like...
You know why? Are we just talking music, though? Are we talking rap? Because you got to remember, I feel like, and this might be me personally, Tupac was a better actor than he was rapper. He was a poet with some flow, but he had to learn rap. You know what I'm saying? That's why he had a lot of influence that sounded like Scarface, or, you know, he grew up as a background dancer for what's his name? The Humpty Dance. So it's like Tupac kind of had to learn here and there. Snoop Dogg was like influential. Snoop Dogg made other people want to rap. I don't think Tupac made other people want to rap. They just respected his art. So in that sense, I totally agree. I think Snoop Dogg was bigger because guys grew up saying, oh yeah, I love Tupac, I love Tupac. But it's like, what did you really like about Tupac other than the songs that he wrote? You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't really live out that lifestyle. You know what I mean? It was kind of fabricated in a sense. because everybody's like, oh, he's such a sweet guy. He's all this, he's all that. But then all he likes to show is like the aggression side. You know what I mean? To a degree. So I don't really know. Maybe I'm not the biggest Tupac fan. I do like Tupac, but I could totally understand Snoop Dogg having a little more clout at a certain time.
Most of Tupac's notoriety came when he died. Like, come on, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, this dude is dead. Oh, let's go ahead and."
Hold on. I can't let you get away with that because one of the main stats that was brought up was I forget what the last album that he dropped or whatever it is, because I'm definitely not a huge Tupac fan. For me, like Tupac and Biggie is kind of like, bro, just let them like go. Like it's been forever, literally forever, you know. And like for like people our age at least, I usually think like, bro, we didn't really grow up with that. Like we were little kids. You were not into music like that when Tupac and Biggie were around. You might like it now because that was like the cool thing. Like when we were kids, like, oh man, Tupac and Biggie died. I'm gonna keep listening to them, and then maybe you became a fan. So it's, I mean, you can become a fan of somebody whatever, but I usually just be like, let it go, bro. Like it's super old. It's like not outdated. Like I feel like good music doesn't get outdated like that. But anyways, the last album he dropped sold 2 or 3 million copies before he died, and then after he died, it only sold 2 million more, and that was by like 2014. It had a total of 5 million copies sold.
Well, what does that tell you right there? What does that tell you right there, Brandon? That tells you right
that
there.
Not as many people were fucking with him.
That tells you that people liked him more for who he was as opposed to his music. Because you know me, we take music personally, and we listen to stuff in depth and kind of have like, you know, we're opinionated, but we're also kind of open, you know. And he was, if I'm being very honest, most of Tupac's music career is in the rap genre, right? The hip hop genre. He was very repetitive. I heard a lot of the same bars a lot. And I do mean a lot. I don't know how many times you have to rhyme enemies with Hennessy. Like, come on.
Ooh, I know people are getting to the end of this podcast. Ooh.
I'm sorry. Like, hey, I got to keep it real. If we start, look, we can have this conversation over again, and that's fine because I can credit songs and I can go back and look at lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Tupac was very repetitive, but people were drawn to him because they felt like he had a purpose. He did speak and he did rap with like what you would think is conviction, like with a purpose, you know,
like he's
trying to put
and all that. Yeah,
right. He's trying to put people on game with this and that. But from a rap standpoint, it wasn't that great. If I got
to check this out. Here's my point. Let me get back to my point saying, because anytime anybody talks about, oh, Pac this, Pac that, and then you tell them, oh, what's your favorite song? It's always the same damn album that gets brought up.
All Eyes on Me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same. Exactly. And my thing is, yeah, great. Yeah. But also we have to kind of be okay with that because we know that those guys died before 25, you know?
Yeah.
So they didn't have a time to establish more albums. So
that's for me, I don't really have an answer for this as far as like who was bigger in their prime or whatever personally, because I don't think that Tupac and Biggie ever really got to reach their prime. I mean, there's no way to find out like, oh, like they were at the end of their career or they were falling off or something. Like
I'm gonna say
it'd be different if like they had an album or whatever that kind of fell off a little bit, like, you know, a little bit less than their previous numbers or something. Like I don't know, in a good example, let's say like maybe like the Little Wayne's when he had like, you know, the Carter 1, 2, and 3. Obviously, like you were purchasing those albums, but when 4 came out, that's when like digital streaming came, so it wasn't as high and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So if we see something like that happen potentially, then maybe you could guess like, you know, this is where Tupac's prime was. But in my opinion, they were both of those two, Biggie and Tupac, were still living in their prime. They still had a lot more to say. They had a lot more to do, but they didn't get that opportunity to do such a thing.
I think we really did see the peak of Tupac musically. I don't think Tupac was going to get better musically. And that's just real. Regardless of features, because, you know, like the feature with Snoop, hard. You know what I'm saying? The features with whoever else, they were great because he had a nice little voice. But again, when you talk about the music, Biggie had way more types of flows. The wordplay was better. The creativity was better. The slang was better. Tupac just had that personality. And honestly, he probably just had a lot of fangirls on his jock too. You know?
Bro, I'll never get over that video. They were like, when Tupac first came out, he was the nice guy. And he was talking about, oh, you got to treat women nice. You know, you got to take him out.
Yeah, with that phony little afro like Allen Iverson used to have. Yeah, I ain't buying that shit.
And then they were like 5 months later, he came back. You got to dog these wills. You got
Exactly. And that's, look, the way I see Tupac is kind of how, without the consciousness to his rhyming, I kind of saw Tupac how I see Drake, because it's like, you know what's catchy, you know what's going to get people going, but your persona is something that you play off a lot easier than everybody else, because you have a background in acting, you have a background in entertainment. So that's something, I'm not trying to knock you musically, but that's just something we just don't know about you. We hear all these, oh, he's this kind of person, he's that kind of person, this kind of, well, then how come when you have a chance to project yourself, you didn't exactly do that, you know? So it's like, who are you for real? I don't know. I know Biggie was just fat and ugly and had bars, so that's the dude I'm bumping. You know, Pac just wasn't all there for me. And I'm from the West Coast, and I love West Coast music, but I don't think Tupac is top 5. Like, I just can't get jiggy with that.
Amen.
Can't get jiggy.
Let's move on that perfect note.
I kind of wanted to. I kind of hate to kind of ruin kind of that conversation, but the last thing real quick is just that it's been announced that Kevin Hart will play Roland in the Borderlands film that's coming. Borderlands is a game. There's like 4 of them at this point. There's Borderlands 1, 2, Borderlands the pre-sequel, Borderlands 3, and technically if you consider the Telltale Games one, there's another Borderlands. So there's 5 in total, I guess, that make up the whole story. You play as vault hunters that are hunting for treasure on a planet. You kind of do all these like puzzles and fight a bunch of monsters. You find some crazy vault or whatever. The first one wasn't really a treasure place thing. It was more like a trap for a monster that comes out and tries to kill you. The second one, it was treasure, but it also showed you maps to a bunch of vaults across the galaxy or whatever, and so on and so forth. It's a cool little story game. It's Borderlands 2, probably the best one. Great story, great villain, great dialogue in the game. Kevin Hart will play Roland, like I said, and who's like the soldier of the group. There's 4 members in Borderlands 1. There's Roland the soldier, Brick, who's like a berserker, this big old buff behemoth guy. There's Lilith, who is a siren. The siren are like a group of I believe they're mainly females. I don't know if they're only females, but they're mainly females, and they have like different like psionic capabilities. Hers just happened to deal with fire and like turning invisible and moving fast and like controlling stuff. Kinetic abilities, just all kinds of different things or whatever, you know. So it's interesting, the lore behind it all. And then finally Mordecai, who's like he has a bird named Bloodwing, and he has like a sniper and it has like a sword or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see. Unfortunately, I feel like this is not the role for him, but it is what it is, and we'll see how it actually turns out. I think he should have been like Claptrap or something. He would have been great for that. But at the same time, they could probably just use, you know, the person who plays Claptrap as Claptrap in the live action movie anyway. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that is pretty much all I got.
No. A little quick exit one. We forgot something.
Okay,
as part of we missed it when we talked about the inauguration. As part of Donald Trump's exit strategy, he left the inauguration early and said, hold on, drop me off at the prison real quick so I could set free Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. Hey, it's crazy because like half of Trump's supporters were kind of like out of the woods racist folks, and we know that, we could say that clearly, but just to spite them almost because they didn't all go to the Capitol and riot how they were supposed to, he pissed them off and set free a few black folks and left Joe Exotic in there.
Joe Exotic had a limo waiting for him.
This dude ordered a limo. He ordered a limo to pick him up from prison, and he never got let out. Bro, how stupid do you feel? Gee, and then to know that he let out 2 rappers.
And by the way, Kodak Black deleted the tweet where he said that he would, if he got out of prison, he would donate $1 million to charity.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
I don't like Kodak Black as a person. I think he's a bad person.
This is the same guy that mouthed off talking about Lauren London after Nipsey got shot.
Yeah. That was him.
I mean, he's not. Go ahead, Daniel should be Kodak Black for Halloween. I think that should be hilarious with the hair and everything. Start growing it out. Jesus. Because he just acts simple, and all you got to do is put that mask on that he had on the Breakfast Club, and and just act clueless.
What? You just gotta get him real perfect.
Oh my god,
man! But that is all I got. I don't got nothing else.
I just thought that was hilarious too. Just as Donald Trump exiting the White House was the most dramatic week of all time. Just like signing stuff left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, the impeachment, the only president to be impeached twice.
He's the only president that I've ever enjoyed watching sign something because the way his head would go back and forth like that while he was signing his name.
He signs the shit and shows it off like an elementary school presentation. What are you doing? Oh man,
anybody want a pen?
Somebody put this bill on the fridge. I'm really proud of this one. Okay.
Thank you. God. Well, all right, piglets. This has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow. Oh, shoot. Before I get into that, real quick, I meant to run it back. I meant to ask you guys, who do you guys think is going to win, Godzilla or King Kong?
Oh, yikes.
I vote death for both of them.
Wow.
The Chiefs.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Said the Chiefs.
Man, who do I want to win and who I think is going to win? Oh my goodness, both of those questions are hard because I like both of the movies.
I'm gonna have to go with King Kong only because Godzilla got them small arms in the front, and I don't know exactly what kind of range of motion you gonna need to play some defense up against that whatever that axe thing Kong is wielding around.
He got a tail.
Yeah, but think about it. If Kong gets on his back, Godzilla just got the tail, right? Like that's all he got. So if you, I just from a genetics and a physical standpoint, I gotta go Kong on this one. Especially when I saw how big and like at first I was like Godzilla's massive over King Kong. Like it's not even close. He's just gonna side leg sweep him or something. But then I saw how big Kong was, bro. I don't know.
That scene where he throws that punch, and I was like, bro, like Godzilla can't do that. Godzilla can't throw a haymaker. Exactly. Kong can do that.
The dude's playing with chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? How's this gonna work?
I still do think that Godzilla would win personally, but like I understand the reason why Kong should win. Yeah.
If it's all in open space, there's no way Godzilla beats Kong. Like, there's just no way. If they're around buildings and stuff where Godzilla can kind of corner him and get him with like a big tail whip or something, then we're talking.
I think that'd be worse for Godzilla because he wouldn't be able to swing his tail without knocking something over.
No, I'm just saying, but it limits Kong's mobility to move around stuff if you got buildings and shit in the way. I don't know. We'll how high can Kong jump? You know what I'm saying? Because Godzilla ain't doing numbers like that.
I think Godzilla, he's a kaiju. He's a dragon type. I'm guessing that Kong is a fighting type. So, fighting does not beat dragon in Pokemon. So I'm pretty sure Gojira is going to win.
What was that? Two for Godzilla?
Is it
one for Kong? What do you say, Daniel?
Hold on, let me look up what happened in the old movies real quick before I make
hey, no analytics, just call the play.
I think I'm gonna go with Kong.
Oh, we're split right now. We're split.
Two for Godzilla. Shit. We'll see what happens then.
Is that our poll? Are we gonna make that a poll for everybody?
That leaves it up to the viewers. The viewers decide. That's how we end this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Well, all right, piglets. This has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Later, piglets.
Look at the size of that butterfly, Mothra.